Welcome to the Brutiful Game. As always, I'm Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron.
What's happening?
And on tonight's episode of the Brutiful Game, red cards, and swift justice. As we talk about Arsenal getting a 1-0 win over Wolves to keep pace in the title race. Then as one blue club moves back into the top four, another moves out of it. It was an interesting 3-1 win to Man City over Chelsea. Only time I've been rooting for Chelsea in my life. Thanks for helping. And before the break, our 2-minute drill is back as we recap all the rest of the Premier League action for around the league in match week 23. Speaking of Chelsea, we'll then blow the halftime whistle as the Holland of the hamburger and the Foden of the fodder, Ron. That's brilliant, Ferris. Shares with us all the news that's fit to drink and yet another edition of Ron's Beer News. Then for the second half of the pod, it's once again the La Liga's Roundup. As we update you on all of today's action in Europe and let you know how the final table shaped up in the Champions League.
The Champions!
But first, our beer. And I believe I am up first, correct, gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
All right. I think last week I went with a local Pennsylvania beer since I just moved here, and I am going to go with another. But it's like a Pennsylvania beer that I think I told you last go around, I bought one purely on the cover or the label. This one also snagged me on the label. This is from Stable 12 Brewing, which is from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. From Barrons Brewery, story of Stable 12 is a brewing company. They were three best friends deciding to adopt a new hobby after college, focusing on something they love, all beer. Doors opened in May 2015, which is cool. That's two breweries now, one in 2015, one in 2016 I've covered that opened that were new and made it past COVID. A lot of the ones that were in that window did not in that like 5-6 year window. To ensure inclusivity, we offer other delicious libations such as wine, hard cider, and hard seltzer made by local Pennsylvania businesses to complement their beers that they have on tap. This looks like a pretty chill place. I think Phoenixville is like about an hour and a half from me.
Isn't that where Sly Fox is?
That is, yes. I need to look up to see if Sly Fox still exists. You're right. That is exactly where it is. But the beer that I got that is super Blake is a yuzu rice lager brewed with Pilsner malt and jasmine rice and our house lager yeast. After fermentation, we infused heaps of yuzu juice and zest, notes of pear, fresh lemonade, jasmine tea, and yuzu rice. This is the Katana lager.
Nice.
I was like, and the art is like this, it's evocative of that sort of Japanese ink wash paintings, you know? But instead of black, it's like a blue ink, and then there's a rising sun, but the rising sun is a slice of lemon. And I had to get it. I was like, well, you're coming home with me. I hope you're good, because this is a very, no, not only like, did I just like the label and stuff, but the actual style of beer is one of my favorite ones. I like the Japanese rice lagers, but I don't think I've had one that's like had the lemon zest in it. Which it's probably been a long time since Ron and I talked about this, but one thing we learned from brewing, when you're doing your Belgian wits or whatever, we heaped in the orange zest and lemon zest, and man, it's wild how much it changes the aroma and flavor. And it's the zest, it's just the skin, you know, you're not even like the fruit of it, and it's just when you open that barrel fermenting. So I'm excited for this one.
Sly Fox Brewing is actually, the headquarters is in Pottstown, but they have a brewery and eatery in Phoenixville. So we're partially.
That's the one that I'd been to many moons ago.
Yeah.
All right. Who's up?
Awesome. Well, we're together for a change. It's not gonna be the same next week because Ron will be, doing a James Bond all over the place. But
Jesus,
I'm gonna Memphis, Ron. I'm gonna miss you. We could get eating barbecue. Thinking of you.
So we're going to try to still do a pod all 3 time zones maybe. But anyways, nonetheless, we're all together this week. And it's actually Orlando Beer Week here in the old Central Florida area. And it takes place January 25th. So started this past Saturday and will go all the way until this Saturday, February 1st. It's just a week to embrace, advance, and advocate our Orlando breweries and the surrounding community. You can head over to ORL Beer Week. on Instagram and just follow along. A lot of the breweries that we've said before on this pod that we've been to in the area, just helping to support all of those local beers here. So what we have is the official beer of Orlando Beer Week, a mega collab, mega City Brewtiful. And it is a mega collab with so many different beers, but essentially Tactical Brewing here in the area, which we've certainly had plenty of their stuff on, and we've talked about them, did this mega collab with, I mean, you can just go through it between Rock Pit, Ivanhoe Park, Windermere Brewing, Hourglass Brewing, Toll Road, Boegan's, 12 Talons, Home State, Ravenous Pig, Park Pizza, 1010, Sideward. Who am I forgetting?
Home State.
I said Home State.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, just a lot. Just so many beers, or so many breweries contributed to this beer. It is a hazy IPA, 7%, and on Tactical's Instagram page, they said we had the pleasure of hosting all of the Orlando breweries this year for the 2025 Orlando Mega Collab. We brewed a hazy IPA and dry hopped it with Vista Lupulin, Centennial, and Cashmere hops. We then conditioned it on Florida oranges and honey. Tropical bouquet on this beer is unreal. Try it for yourself. It's available in most of the tap rooms, on tap and in a can. I actually got these cans at 1010 on Saturday, one of the breweries that I mentioned, but you can get it everywhere. By the time that I went to Toll Road on that Sunday, they had already sold out of the cans.
Nice.
Good
snag.
But Toll Road did have it on tap, so I have had a chance before to have it on can and tap. We have 3, so we can just top off.
Heck yeah!
For our second round. But Blake, I don't know if he showed you the can, but it has the swan ride that you can do there in Akeola and our swans, and on top of that is a mouse type,
kind of the old school.
That is no. Yep. That ain't a mouse type.
Oh, that's right. It's called. Go ahead.
Ron lifted that up, and I said, "How did they get away with doing a Mickey Mouse on there? Can you hold that back up, Ron?"
But it's not quite right.
No. So last year, the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse, the original, he went into public domain.
Ah, there you go. Okay, that makes sense.
If I'm looking at the art on that face, the face
right.
is very the style of the Steamboat Willie.
I think you're right there, Blake. That's a great shout from you.
It's much more round. It's not as flattened out, and the nose and the snout are kind of longer as opposed to, SS Billy.
Yeah, so on the swan it says SS Billy instead of Steamboat Willie. Yeah, good call.
I think it's what it is. And he's kind of wearing almost like a Mario from Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, and then his hat's a blue ball cap with the tactical logo on it. Good shout from you, Blake.
I think that's what it is. There was some. I remember this year some interesting stuff went into public domain. I can't remember what it. Every year that happens, there's a guy on YouTube who will be like, "What's released?" And right after the new year, he goes through the list of everything. So remember a couple of years ago, it was Winnie the Pooh. So they did a horror movie about Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, that's right. They did. I remember that one.
So I don't know when we're going to get Steamboat Willie, the raunchy version, but I'm sure something will.
Well, he's already on a beer, so.
It's Willie's Steamboat.
Yeah.
That means 2
right
things.
to itself.
All right, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's do this, gents. I don't think I mentioned, but this is a 4.7. Ooh, very heady. Oh, a nice pint of lager, but with Japanese rice notes.
Hazy as the day is young. Or old, wherever.
I don't know when I'm going to learn that I just need to install a paper towel holder under my desk.
Yeah, just
Because there's just be times you open the can and stuff goes. Yeah.
For just random spillage, for the droplets that just happen to drop right on your mouse or your keyboard that you're trying your best not to, but somehow it just gets there and you're like, gosh, what's doing it?
And you gotta do it, and the pod ends. You forget about it, and the next day you walk out. Why
sticky.
Does the room smell like beer?
Or why is the key all sticky?
Yeah.
Again, that means 2 things.
That certainly does. Cheers.
Good one.
Cilantro
Cheers.
gents.
Or kampai, since I've got Japanese time. Or wait a minute. It's a Japanese South Pennsylvania, Ron. Here you go. How you like this? Kampai a while.
That is so gross.
From Central or whatever Pennsylvania will get this joke and laugh at it. No one else.
This is
No one
so
else
gross.
will. You're welcome.
I was expecting a bit of a bitter slap.
Yeah.
That did not happen.
Nope.
It's smooth.
Mm-hmm.
It's
The honey really mellows it out.
yeah.
Taste
a
wise
lot.
too.
Yeah, a lot.
Yep. I tell you, it's hard to distinguish whether I like this more on tap or in cans.
Also, it's got a bit of, for a split second, when you start a taste of it, it's kind of got the milkshake IPA
Slight, yeah.
start to it.
Where I was going to go with it is a full-bodied IPA.
That means two things.
Telling me. I want one of
Well
these
done.
cans with Jessica Rabbit. When is she going to become a public
You
domain?
might wait a few more years to hit that 20-year mark or whatever it is. This is slapping, man. This is really good. It's super carbonated, almost like one of the saisons can be, like from DuPont or whatever. And it's a rice lager. It's super clean, but that lemon zest, because it's not the lemon juice or lemonade, it's not sweet. It's just the aroma. I got to find out what the rules are for shipping beer, because
Put
this
it in a
would
box
go
and
on
send
the
it.
of getting stuff to you. Do you know what the rules are?
Put it in a box, ship it.
Bingo.
All right.
First you pack it, then you ship it.
And then you drink it. And that's
Okay.
what it's all about.
The reason I'm saying that is because no one's checking.
Fair enough. Fair enough. This is fantastic, though. Dang, this is going to be a this will be a keeper in the house regular beer. This is good.
All right.
All right, gentlemen. Shall we move to the football?
Why not?
I mean, I kind of just want to keep drinking this beer.
We are. Ron's trying to set up a nice bougie beer pick.
Oh, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Before we, our buddy Kim.
Yep. We know him.
I am a jerk and was slack on checking the Brutal Game email. Kim, I just saw that you have sent us a New Year's Eve email, so I'll send that to the lads after this pod. I don't want you to think we're ignoring you, and we'll give that a read and get back to you. But apologies. Doing the moves and stuff. I've been slack on checking that email.
So, Kim, Ferris, and I have not been ignoring you. Blake has.
110%.
That was
Yeah.
Cole.
Listen, Kim, I'm with you, man. I'm at the bottom of the table with you. I'm fighting Raw for relegation. Ron just kind of like mid-table, me, mediocrity. But Blake, well, Mr. High up on his horse up in there in second. Just kind of like, oh, man, well, Kim, he's down there in 15th now, whatever. Jeez. Some
Look,
people,
I
tell you.
always think of Kim when something's going on and I'm giggling. I'm like, oh, at some
I
point
know.
he's just going to stop listening to this podcast.
He's just like, screw you guys. Here's a 1 star on the old Apple podcast.
Well, on that note, we'll move over to the footy. Wolves 0, Arsenal 1. 10-man Arsenal once again get a goal from a defender and hang on to a 1-0 win over 10-man Wolves. As the main talking point of this match and of the weekend really was once again an Arsenal player seeing a red card in a contentious matter, and not to mention once again at the hands of Michael Oliver.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. Dun, dun. Yeah. Yesterday, Arsenal won their appeal of the Mile Lewis Skelly straight red. By the way, what a great name. Mile Lewis Skelly. Like, you got to do something cool. Like, that's just a sweet name. It's football, or you're playing like trumpet jazz. I don't know. But
At like a cigar bar.
Yeah, it's a great name.
It's the Lewis that does everything because
100%.
Because Skelly sounds like an old guy that hangs around the wharf after his days of of sailing, right? He's got an outfit like the Gorton's fisherman,
Sure,
right?
But it's the Lewis Skelly, like you said, the way it runs into it.
Yeah,
hyphen there.
But it screwed me up because all the soccer, like, people keep calling him MLS, and I'll see an MLS headline and be very confused at why there's a Premier League picture or something, and you're like, oh, wait.
Or it's the law offices of Miles, Lewis, and Skelly.
There you go.
Yeah,
Esquire.
we're in naval law.
Yes.
But should it have even gotten to the point of having to win this appeal? It sucks. Just sucks. You know what? It sucks. It sucks to talk about this again. Like give me a day where I go, God bless it. We're at 10 men. What a dumb tackle, you moron. And instead it's like, God, this is going to be a thing again. And it's Michael Oliver. And is it 8 he's up to now?
I don't know.
Or 9 with 7 to Liverpool, and yeah.
The one thing we'll say before we even get into it is the FA or the pro league. What are they called?
Pigmall.
Sure, it was one of the two. Had to come out with a statement, basically saying that they're working with authorities as Oliver's family and such were getting threats on a physical type nature. Regardless of all of this debate that we're about to have on this card or lack thereof, or why, or was it, should it have, all of those things, that's just uncalled for. It's just you don't go after somebody's or threaten somebody's family because mistake may have been made, or where you think it's a foul should have been made, or because you missed the ball wide of the post at a penalty shootout like that. All of that's just uncalled for. With that said, at first I didn't think it was a red card. Then Ron, you sent us something in the chat, and that guy described it pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And then I was hearing some other people throughout various podcasts also saying, you know what? Do we think it was a red? No. But you can kind of see why it was given and why it was upheld. It's not as bad of a call as you think it is. Right. Now, my personal opinion should have been a yellow card. But then again, I had that opinion when I think Bruno was sent off for something similar like this earlier in the year, and his match ban was overturned for 3 games for something of a similar nature, where studs do collide with the shin and kind of raked it. Now, he was stopping a play from basically being this counter, which most times, whether you pull back on a shirt or those type of things, those are just a yellow card. I think in this case it should have been. So I don't think there was any malicious intent there. I don't think it was necessarily as dangerous of however they word it in the rules, trying to danger the opponent or anything. You're just trying to stop that break from occurring. But you can see why it was given in a way in live time. Now the debate has been a lot this week is, well, isn't that what VAR is for? That in real time you can see that what Michael Oliver saw in a split second, but shouldn't VAR be going, hey, go over to the monitor and have another look? Let's make sure.
Only if they, the rules say that only if they think it's a clear and obvious error,
right? So in that case, if you go in that case,
but that hasn't been the season.
Because the consistency of that rule has not.
Well, also the beginning of this season, they have pulled back VAR's ability to do that because they are trying to keep the flow of the game going, and so I think the refereeing rules are damned if they do and damned if they don't at the moment. In certain cases, because everyone says VAR takes too long and you don't get the call right anyway. So why do we do this? So then the refs union and the league say, okay, we're going to pull it back. And then people are like, well, why isn't VAR stepping in? Right. So. You see the Premier League has said that Michael Oliver can't ref the Arsenal and Man City match. I think that's more about optics than it is about his performance.
Sure. But
PR
like, But I think optics, but see, damn the optics, because they've already done that. Because here's the other problem. This isn't me being a conspiracy theorist. This is why you don't allow employees to do things that show a conflict of interest. I have had to run in orientation for the Walt Disney Company and other places I've worked. And one of the things we talk about is even if you don't have it, you can't appear to have a conflict of interest. And one of these things that always comes up is they go back to the no red card for that last year's Arsenal Man City match where I'm forgetting the player, way worse situation than this, studs right into the Arsenal player and no card, right? No red card. And people go to that and then say, and by the way, that happened after, was it Qatar or whoever paid Michael Oliver and a few other guys $20,000 a piece to go over and referee Saudi Arabian matches, and whoever and the part of the owner of that league owns Man City.
Yeah, but what they don't tell you is that those people went to Pigmall and Pigmall appointed them.
Yeah.
So
no.
So
for
it's
sure,
not as cut and dry as these guys went over there and got paid all this money to do something for Man City on their own. It was sanctioned by Pigmall.
You would say, thank you, but no thank you. We're not going to send any of our people because this is what it will look like. Sure. Do you want to send them to a league in Japan that has no connection to or whatever and do something like that? Go right ahead. But why? I mean, you're just feeding the fodder.
Yeah, but
of the situation. You know what I mean? Like because it still looks. It isn't.
You have to draw that. That's a very long straw to try to draw to connect each end of the straw.
About that?
Well, yeah, because I mean, what he made this call here, but Man City aren't in title race. They're not playing against Man City. They're not playing against Newcastle. They're not playing against another club that's owned by a Gulf state of any type of thing. You know, it's. I get what you're saying from a PR sense, from an optics sense, not the best, but that's a very. I mean,
well, if you're going to allow that guy to have ownership of Man City, you probably shouldn't send your refs to his league. I mean, I do think that's bad. Because all it does is invite this, right? It's not. Yeah, but you can't even just chalk it to
But Oliver is
won't depend on a bad or call or this or that or maybe it's a VAR should have stepped. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like you're sending the third tier of English refs there. Like I call Oliver is a FIFA sanctioned ref that's worked World Cups, that's worked Euros, that has worked these things. So by all accounts, he is by far the top in the UK, but one of the tops in the world for how he goes about the games. It just his games are on blast every single week in the Premier League, and the amount that these guys that they ref these games, they may have 50 games perfect. We'll never even hear. We won't even know that Oliver did Wolves and Southampton, or it won't even come to mind, right? We'll have another 25 games, and that one mistake or that one perceived mistake, right? Because you can't necessarily say this was a mistake. You can go back and watch and see what he saw at real time. Studs connecting with the shin. So it's not like he completely missed the call. He's interpreting that as fast as he can in the moment, going in dangerous play to stop this play to do that.
But that's irrelevant to what I'm saying.
Right. But
what I'm saying is he has a ton of he has a very high list of red cards for Arsenal, right? It makes the Athletic actually did a great article. It's is there a conspiracy against Arsenal? No, but the feeling's real. Because of just. You can keep going back to things you got paid a whole bunch to go out to Saudi Arabia.
But how does that have to anything towards what Arsenal's doing? Because they're not owned by a Gulf state? 18 other teams in the league aren't owned by a Gulf state.
Well, but Michael Oliver, mate, he's also a big fan of Newcastle, so if Arsenal screws up, it helps Newcastle. So I'm saying, it just, you should, I don't know if I shared that article on The Athletic or whatever, but, they're making the point of, you guys are allowing this situation to perpetuate itself as a league and as the referees. Like you're not doing anything to just say like mistake made the Heat, because there's all this other crap that goes on with it. I mean, and like how many pundits are going, well, it's Michael Oliver match, wonder when the red card comes out for Arsenal. Well, there it goes. And everyone's like, oh, was that a red? And then don't forget, he's the red card too for this kicking the ball away, right? How many other times has that happened this season?
Yeah, but both cases are technically against the laws of the game. So, but how is that against?
So technically against the laws of the game, but other people do it right in front of them, and there's not a call.
That's the inconsistency, though. You can blame VAR for stuff like that too. VAR is not consistent with it. Most refs in the league aren't consistent with it. The way a handball's call is not consistent. The way an offsides call is not consistent.
The Man City match last year, his answer was, I didn't want to ruin the flow of the game. I didn't think that was right to pull a red card then, and so I did a yellow instead. And you're like, don't say things like that's what I'm saying. Like every time they talk, they aren't doing themselves favors, and he isn't in the way they talk about it, because like that just opens yourself up then even more. Oh, okay. So today, letter of the law. Yesterday, well, hey, the integrity and flow of the game. I don't want to mess with that. Like
it's all too convenient on both sides of the coin, right? Like,
yeah.
Especially in the wake of who's the ref that just got fired because they're on video for hating Jurgen Klopp.
David Coate?
Yeah, Coate, I think.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, there's all this, like, crap in the press about referee favoritism and, you know, this kind of stuff. So it's easy for people to connect dots in a pattern other than what the real, you know, kind of situation is, right? But on the other side, the referees and how Pigmall conducts itself doesn't necessarily make it so that it's difficult to connect those dots in a otherwise weird pattern, right? So it's on both sides. It's rather convenient to go right to the conspiracy theories look, in all honesty, I'm with you. How long have Arsenal been like, everybody's against us, it's Arsenal against the world, blah, blah, blah. I'm so tired of hearing all about that, right? But in this case, there is that thread that you can pull on that's like, Michael Oliver has all these things. He's come out and said this. Look at all the other red cards that he should have given that he didn't. But suddenly he gives this one, which at first blush looks a different way. And then the referees portion of things, I agree with Blake. If your referees are going to other places that are not, it'd be different if it was FIFA sanctioned and FIFA asked for these people to go over there than it is Pigmall saying yes. Because if it is a FIFA sanctioned event where FIFA needs refs, they do that everywhere. So why wouldn't they do that here? Instead, these guys go to Pigmall. Pigmall sends Daniel Cook, Darren England, who is a controversial VAR ref, and Michael Oliver.
So they all hate Arsenal then.
They all hate a lot of teams. But if it's a FIFA sanctioned event, FIFA should be doing this because FIFA pulls refs from all over the globe for their tournaments and special occasions. But that's not what happened here. So it's the way things are being conducted do not prevent people from saying
it was 2 years ago, but it's to say, I don't know, that you're drawing a lot of.
You're jumping to a lot of easy conclusions to jump to.
Well, yeah,
but it's easy to jump to them.
But it's easy to jump to them. That's
in a way,
saying.
but nobody heard about this him going over there and doing this until this week.
No, that's not true.
Because it didn't matter. When did any of us talk about him going over there and doing this? When did any of us hear about him doing this?
We may not have done the pod when the penalty wasn't given to the Man City Arsenal game, but it definitely came up then.
It's come up several times.
Up until this past week about him going out there and doing it. I hadn't heard it on any podcast, on anything that I've listened to throughout the entire seasons. And this was what? 2023, September 23. So
yeah. So we all knew that this happened because it was in the news. Yeah, so we can't say we didn't know, but
also the reason that it's coming up against Strong now is it's a similar.
But it wasn't against it. I could understand that if it's against, if this happened and they were playing Man City, but they weren't.
No, it's I think you are mistakening. Is that a word? Mistakening. This is not specifically because it's happened at Arsenal. It's more because it happened in another long line of blown calls that he has done.
It's specifically with Arsenal and the amount of red cards given to them because
this wasn't,
they're
we're
perceived to be in this title
call.
race with Man City. That's where they're drawing these things. Or else, what relevance does him going over and doing a game in UAE have on Arsenal and Wolves?
So
none.
No, it's just another thing to say that Michael Oliver is crooked.
Right. It's to say
all. They're not saying it's about Arsenal specifically. They're saying it's Michael Oliver has done all of these things wrong, and this is another one. That's what this is all about.
But then he's given Arsenal 7 red cards and whatnot. So does he hate Arsenal? Is he crooked because of this one call in this game on week 23?
No, he's crooked. They're saying he's crooked for all of these things that have happened, including the Arsenal thing.
Yeah, you're trying to match.
Well, but the only time he ever gets pulled into this is the 7 red cards that he gave or whatever.
No.
No.
What about all the red cards he misses because of Man City versus Liverpool, cleats to the chest, right? The Man City didn't get a card and should have. There's like 13 cases where they say Michael Oliver should have given cards but didn't, and it resulted in strategic wins for that other team.
Yeah, what's that
Arsenal won the game.
It's not about Arsenal. Stop talking about Arsenal.
It's not yet. It's about Michael Oliver. Now he has a slated. Yeah, if you want to talk to an Arsenal fan about it, but like our Liverpool.
That's how it got brought up, though.
That shared the picture of
another
the official
line,
Premier League website.
It's the newest line of things he up, not because it's Arsenal specifically.
Yeah, it's
Arsenal just factors in like all the other teams he's screwed, is what they're saying.
Because mind you, if it's 7 or 8 to Arsenal, it's 8 to Arsenal and 7 to Liverpool. It's high up for both. But it's like the picture Anthony sent us where it's like where it says the official Premier League website is using the Doku challenge of McAllister as an example of a high foot challenge. Ironically, not given as a foul in the game from Michael Oliver, right. And that's the thing they're saying is like, wait, so this is a straight red, but right after you got back from making money in Saudi Arabia, owned by a league that owned the guy at Man City, and they went studs in on Arsenal, and you didn't give a red then, like that's it. Yes, there's an Arsenal tie, but it's Liverpool's thing. This and like it isn't just Arsenal. It's like, or just red cards called for, but also like missed calls against, or come on, that again, that wasting time, letter of the law, wasting time, kick the ball away thing. When the hell has that happened again this season? And it's happened a lot in.
Well, people have gotten cards. Absolutely, it's happened a bunch this year. That he wasn't a straight red for that.
It was the second.
It was the second yellow. So, but that's happened a bunch throughout the season with many other refs. Now, does it happen every single time? No. That's not just with Oliver. That's with Bob Dylan and Joe Blow. I don't know.
So what's the point? What's the point of that rule then?
I don't disagree with you. The point of it was to not stall time and do it. But when you don't do it in a consistent manner, then everybody thinks that they can get away with it and do. But yes, it's the inconsistency of what we've talked about for a vast majority of this season. the inconsistency of all of these calls.
But like also like to Ron's point, it also comes on the heels of, as that Athletic article said, imagine if a few months ago there is no conspiracy. That's ridiculous. But imagine if a few months ago someone suggested you David Coote had an agenda against Liverpool. You'd be like, come on, guys, don't be dumb. When the video drops, right? So that kind of behavior, it leads into all this. It's for eight red cards now. Like, again, I think you're mistaking me for like arguing.
So you expect Michael Oliver to be caught on video doing blow and talking about Klopp here in the next week?
Would you have? Well, that's what he's saying is, though, would you ever have thought that would have been David Coote? No. But nobody
even knew who the hell he was until that story broke.
No, but you keep arguing for things that don't make sense. Like that's not the point.
Did you know of David Coote prior to that story coming?
No,
that makes perfect sense.
That's not the point. The point they're saying is, it is, as Ron said, it's easier for people to get on the bandwagon when before people go, people are being ridiculous. Of course, there's no conspiracy. The refs are no bias. Oh crap, what just happened with David Coote, right? And then like shortly after this happens, and he's a guy that's known for up as a Michael Oliver match, here goes. Like here there's going to be
so you're insinuating that that the same thing's going to happen to Oliver.
Well, there's a non-zero chance.
But there isn't a there's a chance.
But it's just rampant speculation. It's drawing all of these things with really no, okay, because that one rep did it, then he's automatically
guilty of it. Now they're just saying, hey, our revs are freaking, don't worry, they're non-biased. Like you've taken that over. Well, I told you Oliver was a pile of crap. Look at this. Look what that guy did. You can't. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's what we're saying. It's the line of going to get paid by doing the thing in Saudi Arabia, not making the calls against Man City. It's all these things together, and they aren't like a straight line, as in this to this to this. But like, man, you have a long record. Some weird stuff always seems to happen with you, huh, man? Like, and then people going, guys, the refs aren't like that, and then a ref is like that. We find out, so it just lets that crap churn more.
It's
right?
the optics of coincidence. Make it look and make it easy to speculate that everything is not up and up. For time wasting, as of January 2025, Arsenal has received the most yellow cards for time wasting in the Premier League with 9. AFC Bournemouth 7, Chelsea 6, Everton 6, Newcastle 6. Those are your top 5 teams for yellow card time wasting.
But you can go through like a video and just see the people kicking the ball
Arsenal are dark arts lords of that they do.
It's fair.
So, and not all of the yellow cards. It doesn't say as of January 2025, Michael Oliver gave Arsenal all 11 cards of 10, 9, 14, 17, 35 cards. I don't know. But I get the optics of it all. But at the same point, it's... The man is one of the best refs in the league. The company that he works for, Pigmal, sent him out there to do a job for Saudi Arabia.
But that's
FIFA sends him out to do this, right?
I'm saying.
I get that it's easier to draw those various conclusions.
Should have done that. To Ron's point, FIFA should have done it, and he still could have gone. But at least it's not Pigmal.
But not if the UAE, who's a separate. They're their own league. And I don't know how it went down, but came to Pigmal going, I don't know. It might be the most famous professional refs association in the world. So we want the best and the most well known to do whatever the hell they were doing, a charity match, a cup match. I don't even know. So
I mean, like,
but the best refs,
give us 3 of your best refs to send over there and do it.
The best refs in the world are pulled by FIFA.
Right.
And Michael Oliver is one of those.
That's fair, but the other 2 are not.
I don't, but UAE probably didn't work with FIFA to get him over there. They probably said, here's a truckload of cash to the most well-known
But that's still a problem.
Most well-known ref association in the world.
Bad. That's still bad.
That's still bad because one of the owners of the situation, I think it's Saudi Arabia, I don't think it's the UAE, and I apologize, we're probably saying that incorrectly. But it's one of the owners, the guys who own, or is an owner of Man City. And that's what they're saying. Like, that's, so don't go do that because that could look bad. That's what I'm saying. We all go through this in corporate training about appearance of impropriety. I mean, I'll send you this athletic thing, but it's great. The guy's saying there is no conspiracy. The problem is, it's like the decision specifically to send off Declan Rice and Trossard for kicking the ball away. The explanation given by Pickmall was, and the increasingly prevalent former referees on segments such as like Sky Sports and stuff, were saying officials had no choice but to issue the yellow cards because it was right in front of them. But that claim has been undermined every week by similar offenses that go unpunished. So football's laws get enforced in different ways by different officials, and some rules exist to act as a deterrent. Kicking the ball away is one. As a player, you know you'll probably get away with it, but you take a chance. And telling fans that the reality is different and that there is consistency is what's making people pissed off because there isn't. And so they feel like they're being gaslit and condescended to. And so that's where, this is what I'm saying.
We all know, we talked about the inconsistency of this.
I think you're still fighting like there is a conspiracy. But what he says is, consequently, conspiracy theories become more tempting. And that's what I'm saying, is this scenario that has not been helped by the situation. It just lends more to it. And then you do an independent review, bam, immediately overturned. And so I guess you're wrong, because an independent review got to look at it and say that never should have been a red.
That's happened at least 5 times this year.
Right. But you're wrong then, because an independent, like, why is he right and they're wrong?
Well, why were the other 3?
No, that's not the question.
Yeah.
The question is, why is this particular case, why was the ref wrong?
They're not saying that it was wrong.
Yes, they are. They overturned his call.
No, they overturned the suspension. They did not overturn the call.
Right. They said it should have been a yellow, basically.
No, they just said you're not suspended for 3 games. The same thing with Bruno. Bruno has a red card that he accumulated, but he did not serve that 3-match ban because the ban was overturned.
Right.
So what they're overturning is the ban, not the card.
But that's an equivalent of getting a yellow, is what I'm saying.
But that's not alleviating the card. It's not saying that he was wrong.
No.
It's that. But it's not saying that he was wrong on issuing that card. It's saying that he's not going to serve that ban.
So
the card doesn't exist anymore. Because why would you take the ban away?
You can go and you look on
but it's
paper.
meaningless. It's meaningless.
But it's meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. There's
it means
no
absolutely nothing.
On the stats right now, it can show that Arsenal got a card in
what
that
does
game.
that mean?
But who cares?
Nothing.
What does that mean, Lewis?
But it means nothing.
No, it just means he doesn't get suspended. The card is still on the official match report or whatever.
What you've done
but to what effect?
But you're not saying that he is then wrong, though.
To what effect?
Because they played 75 minutes of the match down. Yeah.
To what effect?
If Michael Oliver was correct, why wouldn't they have left it?
All they did was the card is left, though. That's what I'm saying.
But the card at that point,
he just didn't serve the match ban,
which means the card is meaningless.
It did nothing,
because the whole point of getting a red card means you get sent off.
That wasn't the question, though.
Hold on, it is now because of how you're arguing.
Yeah,
right.
The question is was Oliver wrong on that? Well, no, they didn't say that he was wrong on that because the card still stands.
So here's a hypothetical question. You and I are playing. We're on different teams. You foul me. They call it a red card. They send you off. Then you find out your match was overturned. Your ban was overturned.
Happened to me.
Right? Right. So it's overturned. Right.
Sunday League before, yeah.
It means you weren't actually penalized.
Well, no, when I get asked if I ever got a card in Sunday League, I say yes, I still got a card.
But if you told me that you got penalized, I would say no, you didn't, because you didn't serve a ban.
But what is the card? If
my team had to play,
hold on,
game down.
If the card, if you did not have to pay the consequences of your actions because the match ban has been overturned for you, right? What was the point of you getting the card in the first place?
And that's what I'm saying. You still didn't play the remainder of that game, and your team played down. So you could have lost the game. If say Arsenal lost this game, they're not giving them the 3
They don't do that anyway. Again, against anything.
So Martin Scully law offices may come back and play, but now Arsenal just lost 3 points. So there is a penalty still to that red card.
I can buy that.
The punitive action to that afterwards is what they overturned.
But if it really was a excessive red card that deserved a straight red, why didn't they leave the ban?
No, I agree. It shouldn't have been. I agree that the 3-match ban shouldn't be the same way that Bruno's match ban was overturned. But that card is still there. That Bruno, as Manchester United captain, still got 4 red cards this season. That doesn't go away. And I couldn't even tell you what the result of that game was. They may have drew, they may have lost. In fairness, I don't think they could play with 13 men sometimes, and it wouldn't make a damn difference. But
here's the thing, and the nut of this article too is that in a pre-VAR world, the fans walk away pissed off, out of their brain, but a bad call made in the heat of the moment. But that's gone because the Premier League chose to introduce VAR in a way completely different than how we talked about La Liga does, and I forget what the stat was you pulled, Ron, was it last year, but it was insane how much fewer times La Liga went to VAR, and when they did, they usually got overturned because it was a clear and obvious reason to look back at it, right? And so now Premier League has and that's kind of this guy's point is you can't really be upset at people for talking about conspiracy theories when you are creating the fodder and the fuel for them to do it because of how you chose to run the situation.
It's nothing new, though. Listen.
No, it's just
after the World Cup of 2018, England royally jacked up VAR. We've been saying that for the past 5 years.
Yeah. It's just the latest in a long string of, screw ups. And
it's a long topic. What the hell? Where are we at?
Yeah, almost 50 minutes.
Jesus. All right.
Just what's the point of VAR?
Hey, guess who we're talking about next? Man City. Go figure. I'll be damned.
So, I do like the one of the things that came out of all the people talking about this. But I actually think is the better idea. It should not be a Pigmal Pearson at VAR. It should be independent because there's part of that too where. I work with this guy, and if I do this, and but how do you?
It's not going to happen, though. It's not going to happen in Italy, in Spain, in USA. Here, it's not going to happen where they get these.
You know how it might happen? None of the other countries have an independent football regulator.
Yeah,
like the UK is about to undergo. So this.
Very true.
That could be.
It could be
a completely different can of worms.
Could be Mary down at the pub shop.
Saucy Mary
Saucy Mary.
And this is the classic. If this is what we're going to do, can we just get rid of VAR? It would be easier just to be pissed off.
It's here to stay. It's not. They're not going back on that.
I
especially
agree with
their
you.
whole.
That's unfortunately they're not going back on it. That genie's been let out of the bottle, and it is.
But it's even
granted all sorts of wishes, red cards, yellow cards. His Prince Aladdin is Michael Oliver.
But as Ron pointed out, they've been tasked with keeping the game moving better. But my lord, there will still be a match a week where you're like, why is this taking so long to get to this? Or a whistle that's blown for VAR so late.
My favorite is, hey, go over to the monitor. We'll have it conveniently paused right at that moment.
I hate that. I absolutely hate that.
Or you're not going to watch it again in the time that you saw it. We're going to pause it right where we think you made the mistake. Now the only image you got is cleats to shin.
Right.
Hey, go ahead and play that again. It plays and it stops right there again. I want to see the entirety of the play.
Play the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, because as we've seen, say you do fake punches in movies. You're pretty far apart, but you break the plane on a 2D film and it looks like you hit someone. So you need to run that footage, right? So you can actually see the before and after, because you may go, he actually was clear of that, whatever, you know what I mean? No, that's where you can see it. You can see the tag happen.
Last word, gentlemen. Last word.
Just consistency.
Michael,
Michael Oliver.
Prince
Sucks
Ali,
balls.
Ali Abi. How's the song go? From Aladdin?
I don't know.
Prince Ali, Oliver, big balls for a head.
Red cards, yellow cards.
Damn it, you're going to have me rewrite that now.
I love it.
We got to fly through whatever we're doing.
Oh,
next.
my God, that was great. Man City sucks. They beat Chelsea 3-1. Man City get their fourth win in 5 as they move back to the top 4, not only moving past 6th place Chelsea in the table, but also by a 3-1 defeat at the feet of Gvardiol. Gvardiol and Holland and Foden at Etihad Stadium, with 2 new debutants immediately inserted into the lineup in Omar Marmoush and Abdu
Kusanov. Kusanov.
That's why I wrote it for you to say. Abdu Kador Kusanov. What were you saying, Ron? You said
Kusanov is his last name.
Let's just go with Kusanov for that one. I apologize in butchering your name when you listen to the podcast.
First Uzbekistanian to play.
Yeah. Uzbek International.
Like Blues passing the night, are Man City back in the title race and Chelsea headed back to mid-table mediocrity?
Absolutely to both of those.
I agree with Chelsea headed back to the mid-table mediocrity. I agree with that. Man City, I don't think are in the title race yet.
You think the steam like ahead, which had bumps along the way still, you don't think Chelsea can still?
I think Chelsea will land somewhere there in the top 6 where they're at. They may even end up in that 5th spot, and I think they will. The squad's just too deep, and the 5th spot will probably get Champions League this year.
Too deep?
Really? Yeah.
I don't know what pool you're looking at.
They're staying up there.
I think with who's around you, I mean, like, it's so hard not to go, well, here comes Man City again. But if you look at the totality of their season, I mean, I think I need to, what a dumb thing to say. It's a very John Madden thing to say. I think I need to see like 3 wins in a row here that are definitive. You know what I mean? Like, because they've been very up and down. And I know they've got 2 wins, a draw, 2 wins. Who was their draw against? Who was that? Brentford. See, that's what, and they draw against Brentford. They beat Chelsea. They beat Ipswich Town 6-0. I mean, like, that's not, the West Ham is probably a better one. But they've beaten Leicester. They've beaten West Ham, drew to Brentford, beaten Ipswich, which, to be honest, is why I kind of thought Chelsea had this match, because I was like, well, they're finally going to actually play a quality team again. So I was a little surprised the way this turned out.
I honestly was not. Our defense is all but pulverized. We've had to pull Trevor Chalobah back from Crystal Palace. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Crystal Palace. And our midfield with Enzo Fernandez only being so fit. Moises Caicedo has played every
good new goalkeeper.
Well, sorry. I mean, don't get me started on that mess. I think we will finish somewhere 6 to 10 because our midfield is tired and will continue to be so. Because we are seemingly not bringing anyone in to alleviate that stress in the January transfer window or the winter transfer window. And our defense still...
Yeah, you did. You brought in Germa. Wrong team.
And we have a lot of problems, including the decision-making of our goalkeeper. And ill-timed decision-making at that. So I'll leave you with... We are still a mid-table team. We were just punching above our weight for a bit, which I did say when we were punching above our weight.
I think you guys will be fine. I think you guys want to end up at 5th.
Well, I mean, we're not in a relegation battle, but there are teams that are better than us, right? Newcastle's better than us. Bournemouth is certainly better than us. Villa is likely better than us.
Not table-wise right now, though.
Why Man City ain't going to hang. Bournemouth's going to take that 4th spot. That's what I need the cherries to do.
I sent you guys the video of, was that this weekend? I sent you guys the video of my son sitting on the couch watching soccer with me and applauding the Cherries win. That was awesome.
Oh God, I can't wait for our buddy Anthony to listen to this pod. He's gonna love that last awesome conversation so much.
I kind of wish he was here on it.
I know, but he'd have some Mike Oliver opinions too, coming from Liverpool.
Oh yes, he would.
Be delightful.
We got a mosey, gents.
I'm pretty sure Bruno was sent off by him.
Speaking of Bournemouth, let's move on over to our 2-minute drill. Kick it away, Ron.
Bournemouth, bring in the surge. I screwed up that, so I'm going to start over.
I was like, I wonder how he's going to.
I was like, did I write it that way? I don't think I did.
Nope. Talking faster than I read. Bournemouth bring surging Nottingham Forest back down to reality in a big, big way as the Cherries lay a 5 spot down in the Forest on a 5-0 win on the South Coast. Bing. So if a tree falls in the forest and only the cherries are around, does anyone hear it? That's the question. Qatar with a hat trick, this time for Bournemouth, but don't look now as they're 7th in the table, tied on points with Chelsea, who I still think are going to end 6-10. Thoughts?
That great hat trick to see. I mean, like, God, talk about like Nottingham just being like, what is going on, and consistently doing well. And
back-to-back hat tricks, because you remember Kluivert just had one against Newcastle the week before.
And see, and Nottingham, they've had a draw, unfortunately, in their last 5 passes, other than this loss, and that was against friggin' Liverpool, and then Bournemouth. So at this point, is Bournemouth better than Liverpool? I think that's questions we have to ask through the transitive property.
Well, and guess who's playing this weekend?
Come on, Cherries.
Liverpool and Bournemouth.
God, wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, my word. I mean, look, we started saying it early on in the season, just the way like Man City was wobbly, but God, this is great.
Well, we might as well just roll this 2 minutes in, because the next headline, you want to read that, and then we just talk all about this.
I just mean the fact that it is a very could be anybody in the 6 is awesome. I love this. This is great.
So when I was watching this, I was immediately brought back to the movie Top Gun, when all of the rookie Top Gun pilots get out of their first hop, and they're all like, I looked over at him and said, where did he go? And he went over and said, where did who go? Like, that's what I felt all the time as Bournemouth were just getting run after run after run in behind the Forest.
Yep.
Forest back line. Like, where'd he go? Who? Where did who go? Like,
that is a great reference.
Thank you very much.
I love that. Oh, I love the Cherries. A Gakpo double helps secure all 3 points of Liverpool as they win once again to keep their 6-point lead at the top of the table with a game in hand. Liverpool keep winning, but the aforementioned Cherries are up next. What will that be Liverpool's first loss in the league since September? I would bet on a draw. I'd feel comfortable doing a cheeky bet on a draw after the Forest game.
Describe cheeky bet, please.
I think that's what keeps things interesting, is that Liverpool is playing as the best team right now, but it's not a perfect situation.
No, they've drawn games like as of the past few weeks,
but they still don't feel
draws perfectly.
As Man City the last 2 years, you know, they don't have that feeling about them.
They haven't lost since September.
Hey, man,
I don't know what feeling other than
they ain't played the Cherries yet either, have they?
I'm pretty sure they have.
I don't know. I understand where Blake's going.
Like, I had to play them at least once. Already.
There's Man City, especially the treble year, had this air of inevitability. And I don't feel that with Liverpool. What I feel with Liverpool is, are they going to falter this week?
Like, if they went on a 3-match slide, you go, damn, I can't believe that. But like, okay, like it wouldn't. It's not like we were when how Man City's been playing right now. We're like, I can't even. I went from cheering it on to being like, I can't even believe what's happening. But if that happened to Liverpool and they had a couple of games,
it wouldn't be a
they were really good.
It wouldn't be a
this
shock.
is where our friend Anthony turns off the pod.
Right.
I don't think he would necessarily agree with that, because it is not a perfect. They just don't. I don't know. Man City was so friggin' perfect, right? And Liverpool's got that thing where even when they're down, they manage to pull something out at the very end, which is a very like teams that go on to win it, even when it doesn't.
They're also the only team to have won the league in the past several years, besides
me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
listen, I don't want them to win the league. I don't want them to. I hope they lose the last 20 games that they're playing. But they haven't shown that from week to week in the league this year so far.
Now, that's you, Ferris.
I was looking to see what the last time that the Moyes effect is in full swing as they make it back-to-back wins since Moyes has taken charge, this time taking down Brighton Hove and Albion down at the Amex by a 1-0 scoreline. How much of this is a good old-fashioned manager bump versus Moyes just being a darn good manager? I take the latter. He's just a darn good manager.
I think this is a great situation for Moyes, and one that's suited very well to his style of playing and his mentality. So I think it's a bit of both in this respect, right? The Moyes coming in and having a good solid plan, plus the manager bump of these guys really want to retain their jobs more than this season. And so they're playing harder for the Gipper, if you will.
Harder for the Gipper.
So, guys, we can't escape. I'm sorry. I don't care about any of that. This is all about more Pigmall controversy.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, here we go.
Have we really got to throw a card to a dude for flapping his arms like a seagull after he scores a penalty?
Did he?
Yeah,
Did they card him?
No, he got a card for it.
It is some classic
like on sportsmanlike conduct or something like that.
It's some classic old school NFL no fun league kind of thing.
But then Jamie Vardy, at some point we'll get to him. He points to the badge and tells Spurs fans that, hey, I've won the Premier League before and you haven't, and he doesn't get a card.
Exactly.
It's inconsistency.
The Athletic article is really funny, as it's like, it's like, is it a bird, is it a crane? According to referee Tim Robinson, it was a seagull, and he decided to book Everton's Iliman Ndidiye, who had just scored the decisive penalty against Brighton Hove and Albion for his celebration. Robinson was confident in his ornithological knowledge because Ndidiye had plausible deniability on his side and may not have known what the seagull probably flapped like. Like, it's like you said, I feel like the Vardy ones are way more antagonistic than that. Like, come on.
Despite conceding an early goal, Newcastle make easy work out of Southampton to get back on winning ways with a 3-1 defeat of the Saints, who go marching home. 5th place will probably get Champions League this season, but we all know 20th will for sure get relegated.
Southampton are on pace right now to be the worst ever Premier League team. You can go ahead and hit it. We'll just move on.
I found that chart last week, and they're still on path to do that. I think Newcastle, though, it's like whenever they get a good run, they like F up and falter out. I feel like floating between that 4 and 6 with danger of dropping out is going to pretty much be their season, is what you'll see.
We'll see. I mean, in previous, they got racked with injuries and then had a plague trying to get back out of that hole they dug themselves. So who knows?
That 5th spot is for Bournemouth, baby. Champions League for Bournemouth. That's what that's for.
Brentford hang on what was a rainy, windy, cold night at Selhurst Park as the Bees sting the Palace twice in a 2-1 win. How about a proper mid-table London English match in rainy old January, eh?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to that one.
It was kind of a fun watch, though. because it was the other thing that you saw in this one, another cheeky celebration is on Embuemo's. Penalty that I think won the game or put it to make it 2-0. His first one, they called it something. I don't know what they called it, so we had to retake it. Before he kicked the ball, or right as he kicked the ball, you have Johan running behind him, celebrating before the ball even gets to goal. And there's this brilliant image that you can find online of him like running with his arms up, being like celebrating the goal, and the ball just left in Embuemo's foot.
In those cases, you're either the hero or the zero.
Yes. Well, right? But he's not even the one taking the damn kick.
I know, but
and he didn't even get carded either.
You look so cool if it goes in, and you look like such an idiot if the penalty misses.
Yes. And that was on the second one where he actually made it, not like the first one where he missed it and then he got to retake it again for whatever. I don't remember why, but.
I take, Kim, Happy New Year to you as well. I take no pleasure in saying this, but Tottenham lose again. This time, that's Ferris, that was not me. This time, after giving up a 1-0 lead at half to a winless in 8 matches, sitting in 17th Leicester City, who now are 16, right? From bad to worse for Tottenham, as they now sit in 15th place, 7 points off Leicester and 8 from the relegation zone. They couldn't possibly. Can they?
No,
they'll be fine.
Look, man.
Playing somebody at wherever he was playing Mike Moore. That sounds like a boxer trying to rap here in the United States. I'm Mike Moore.
I don't know. I think that Angie is has been caught with his pants down at the zoo. I heard that phrase somewhere and I loved it. I think people have his number, man, and I don't know. Like, are they realistically going to get in a relegation fight? No. Will they be in the conversation for a bit? I think they will. I think something's got to change there. Unfortunately, it's, for fans, I think they'd rather see Levy go than
and the board.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, and the board, I don't know. Like, it's clubs just seem to have the number, man.
Do you want to know their next 4 games?
That I was about to ask, what is it?
They go on the road to Brentford, who have been fantastic at home this season. Then they go up north to Liverpool. Then they go on the road again to Aston Villa in the FA Cup. Now, the Liverpool and Villa games are both EFL Cup and FA Cup, respectively. And then they host Man United. So they'll easily get a win there. They might lose all the other 3.
But what's their next few Premier League matches?
Brentford, Man United, Ipswich, Man City.
And all of those are losable.
They all are. Like, I mean, it's not Southampton. Ipswich has 16 points. Tottenham's only got 24. You can't tell me you can't treat any of those.
It gets bad to worse in the month of February for them. That's Brentford, Liverpool, Villa, Man United, Ipswich, Man City.
Oh, they could go winless. They really
It's going to be a rough February for them.
And I think if you fire the manager after, 18 months in charge or something like that, I think you got to not be looking at the manager at this point.
I don't think he'll get sacked until the summer if they do. They're in every cup tournament still, so that's going to go a long way. That's probably what's keeping his job.
But like, you've had Mourinho, Conte, Nuno, and Ange. Like, that's not a terrible manager's list. And each one of them didn't survive 2 full years.
Yeah.
Right? So,
I know you're talking to a Manchester United fan. I'm fully aware. Thank you.
So like, you can go sack Ange.
That's not going to solve anything right now.
But if you, the next person you get in, whoever
injury ridden, like they have some key injuries. That's not helping at all.
That is true. Graham Potter and West Ham get their third point since the English manager signed with the London club as they pull one back via Emerson in the 70th minute against Aston Villa. Villa once again falter from a Champions League hangover as they drop points to 14th place West Ham.
Well, that's what we asked ourselves leading into the season, right? How are they going to?
Yeah, and they haven't responded too well in the league. And I mean, they're in seventh, eighth place right now. Not bad, not terrible. There's reports today that they've had some offers for John Duran to Saudi Arabia. That may be gone. He's been like their off the bench, six man, if you will, type. Report that Arsenal put in a bid for Oli Watkins. I don't know how successful that'll be in January.
That got rebuffed.
Got rebuffed already. There you go. So they're going to try to hang on. They're not doing terrible. We'll get to the Champions League here in a bit, but they do advance in that. We'll update you on if they went through without having to play a playoff game or not. But this is kind of a match you would expect between these two teams, and these are usually how these two teams play it out with some sort of draw. I think with Graham Potter at West Ham, he's starting to get them on kind of that straight and narrow where they'll win the games that they should and be much more competitive in the games that they should as well.
I know that I think the transfer to Saudi Arabia is a done one. I know a friend of the pod, Matt, dropped me a line today saying, because he's in London, he's like, I hate to lose him. I'm curious what happens to Ollie Watkins thing if they knew they were going to get rejected first.
They're not going to let Duran go and him. So if anything, it'll be in the summer for Oli is my thought on the matter.
I don't know why you send Duran off. But
not right now.
Yeah. What do I know?
And for the last match of the weekend, it may have been their first shot on target, but Manchester United don't care as they get their first win on the road in the league since December's Manchester derby as they beat Fulham on the road at the Cottage 1-0. One shot, one goal, up to 12th. Champions League, here we come. Listen, hilarious. It is largely boring match. I actually had it on the iPad as I was at Toll Road with friend of the pod, Tony. Anthony, as we referred to him earlier, and Caitlin and Britt, and we were just enjoying a day out with the dogs on a beautiful early low 70s here in the sunny Central Florida. It was cold all this past week, but we were enjoying some beers and I just had it on the iPad. And for the vast majority of it, highly boring, unwatchable. Glad I wasn't sitting at home, just watching the whole damn thing. Bull took a pretty good carom off of the defender to kind of loop over the goalie. Nonetheless, shot on target, a good shot at that. Took a good deflection, 1-0. That's it.
Take what you can get.
Exactly.
Name my next album. All right, this brings us to the halftime whistle, where it's time for all the news that's fit to drink with this edition of Ron's Beer News. Ron, over to you.
All right. So I'm just going to keep it nice and trim because it's we're a little over time after our conspiracy theorist podcast that we did earlier.
Tinfoil hats put on over here.
Gentlemen, Anheuser-Busch / InBev, AB InBev.
I know that.
Has agreed with Bellingham, Washington's Sound Beverage Distributors to acquire brand rights to AB's portfolio and other products. Sound Beverages distributes AB products and other adult beverage products in Whatcom, Skagit, and Island counties in northern Washington. So basically, this company is the sole distributor for all adult beverage beers from Seattle all the way to the Canadian border. So if you think about how much that is, that's a lot of people. Seattle all the way to the Canadian border. So AB
It's a lot of beer.
has now an agreement with these it essentially becomes part of AB1 operations, which is the company's network of wholly owned distributors. So not only do they brew the beer, but now they own all the distribution, so they don't have to pay someone else. But here's the interesting
strong arm them, eh?
Yeah, here's the interesting thing. Regional craft brands that are impacted by this acquisition include Aslan Brewing, Bale Breaker Brewing, Black Raven Brewing, Diamond Knot Brewing, Fort George Brewing, Icicle Brewing, Iron Horse Brewing, Kulshan Brewing, Laurelwood Brewing, Narrows Brewing, Noli Brewing, Von Ebert Brewing, which I love, and Wander Brewing. Now, why this is interesting is because AB InBev, who is their competitor, now owns the rights to distribute their beer. And so AB InBev has said, you guys can opt out of this if you want. But if these brewing companies actually opt out, they're going to lose their most important market, which is Seattle. Right? So this means AB InBev's, or I should say AB1, because that's the wholly owned brewery, wholly owned distributor network that AB InBev owns, can now dictate the terms and say,
it seems like a thing that shouldn't exist.
Exactly. Right? So now these guys can dictate terms and say it now costs you triple to distribute your beers, thus making it almost impossible for all these brewing companies, these 12 brewing companies, to have access to a major market, because that's the only company that can distribute to those 3 counties.
Did you know that Disney and Universal, and they're not allowed to own their own movie theaters? There was a law that prevented that.
Oh, that's why Disney has an AMC, and I think Universal now has Cinemark is there.
They can't on their own. And I don't know if that law is still enforced on the books, but that's where
it's one of these, if you I don't know what the phrase, but if you can't buy them,
can't beat them, join them,
something like that. But it's not really, because all they're doing is you're not buying the
just buying the means of distribution.
Correct. Yeah, they're not
going to buy the brewing companies, right? These 12 brewing companies. What they're going to do is they're going to restrict their access to the market.
Right. And it's like InBev changed their marketing strategy or buying philosophy. Right? We're no longer going to buy up these breweries. Instead, you know what? Right. We'll buy the distributors that do. So now we're just going to basically strong arm you into.
Right. It's similar to the firearms laws that were, okay, we won't restrict the guns, but we'll restrict the ammunition.
Right. It's dirty pool. It's so dirty pool. It's so shady. It is against everything, if you believe in free market economy, that is supposed to be.
It's not illegal.
Like, that should not be the case. I hate it. So craft brew has done so much to grow, but they're still fighting this crap still.
Yep.
Can't beat them, choke them. Was that really what it was?
Maybe that was something. It was something. I don't know. Like I couldn't think of a good proper phrase.
I think that's the new one. Yeah, that's what this is.
Yeah. So a spokesperson for AB InBev told them that the acquisition of the distribution rights for those and other non-AB InBev brands is subject to supplier approval. Right? So that's the fancy way of saying, look, they decided to opt out. That means those craft breweries can opt out if they want and leave Sound Beverage without penalty, though that will come with a bunch of hardship because, remember, Sound Beverage is the only one that can distribute to those locations.
That's calculated.
Right? So And what they're going to say is, well, the brewing companies opted out. But what they're not telling you is the brewing companies had to opt out because you made it
Possible for us to,
impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's like, you can't buy the horses, but you know what? I'm going to buy the river stream where they drink water out of, and
Right.
good luck.
Right.
Keeping them alive for a little bit.
Then I'm going to dam it.
Yes, and then yes.
Right.
And then we're going to,
So the evil empire up to their continued evil antics.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay. Hey, how appropriate, because we're going to talk about the Champions League.
Here comes the big ship. What's that big ship they have?
Star Destroyer, man.
Yeah, here comes the Star Destroyer. Come flying down. The champion.
Piloted by Bilbo Baggins.
And the Emperor is, what's the old FIFA guy? That
Sepp Blatter?
Sepp Blatter.
There you go. It's the Emperor.
That's hilarious. Does that make Infantino the Vader?
He's Palpatine or whatever, right? No, who is he?
He's bitchy Kylo Ren. That's who he is.
Hilarious.
I'll have to do another edition of, well, I guess we got to wait till May 4th, right? We got to do an edition of like recasting Star Wars from international soccer people. I'm still really proud of that Klopp and Han Solo one. I think it's hard to.
That was good.
That was
better
good.
one for that. All right, Bears, take us into the La Liga roundup.
All right, we're going to try to fly through this as it happened today, so you probably know if you watch soccer,
Ferris,
like soccer, and
can you fly through it quick? Can you fly through it in less than 12 parsecs?
What's an aluminum falcon?
All right. Jesus.
Wait, you've been flying around in your ship for 3 weeks? You must smell like shoes wrapped in leathery burnt bacon. Thank you, Family Guy. You're the best.
Was that a robot chicken?
Oh, robot chicken.
It was robot chicken.
Good shout. Good shout.
All right. The Champions League. It was pretty much chalk today. I won't go through every match, but Man City did win, so they're in. Inter won over Monaco. Bayern won 3-1. Leverkusen was kind of the big one there. They did win 2-0. Few upsets here and there. Benfica beat Juventus 2-0. Villa beat Celtic 4-2. Not an upset, but an expected win. Arsenal beat Girona 2-1. Real Madrid beat Brest 3-0. Liverpool did lose, and they were handed a red card. I wonder if Mike Oliver was part of it. But they lost 3-2 to PSV. Now, how all of that shapes up, this is the very last match week, so round 8 of the tournament. Remember, there's only been 6 games in the group stages because of this new league table that they're playing. There was 8 games played. So the top 8 teams automatically qualify and go straight to the round of 16, which we all know. This would be usually what we're going into right now, is after what would have been match week 6, then going into the round of 16. Instead, there's a playoff round. But these next 8 teams that I say all are basically have a bye for the next few weeks while the playoffs are being played over a 2-legged playoff tournaments. These 8 teams are top of the table Liverpool, who despite the loss today, but their only loss of the tournament, top of the table on 21 points. Then you had Barcelona, Arsenal, and Inter 2 through 4, all on 19 points. Then in 5th, you had Atletico Madrid on 18 points. Leverkusen, as I said, that was a big one. They had to win to stay in the automatic places. Them, Lille, and Aston Villa at 6 through 8, all on 16 points, all have automatic places. That is big for Villa, especially if you think of how their league form has been after games. Getting them into an extra few games with the playoffs probably wouldn't have been too good for them in the long run. Now, your 9 through 24, those teams all will play in a playoff round over 2 legs. That draw is set to happen, I want to say, this Friday, the 31st. I'm not mistaken. Yes, this Friday the 31st, 12 CET time. So a draw will basically determine who plays who out of these next teams that I'm going to list. There are seeded teams. Those seeded teams are 9 through 16. And there are unseeded teams. Those teams are 17 through 24. In the order of how the table ended today, those teams are... Sorry, I just got a little bit... There we go. Atalanta, Borussia Dortmund, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Milan, PSV, PSG, and Benfica. That's 9 through 16. There are some big names in there. All of those are seeded teams, which means they cannot play each other. They will play the unseeded teams. Those unseeded teams, 17 through 24. Monaco, Brest, Feyenoord, Juventus, Celtic, Manchester City, Sporting CP, and Club Brugge. So in this playoff round, you could have a draw that is Man City versus Real Madrid in a playoff round.
Would that be entertaining?
That would be entertaining. Again, that draw is set to take place this Friday for the playoff rounds. Once the winner of those are determined, then the lowest seeded and lowest of the unseeded will then play Liverpool and or Barca in a next draw. So they'll do another draw after the playoffs for then the round of 16. Then you'll have your teams once again kind of reorg there a bit for the drawing and the seed. Whew, you got all that?
Clear as mud.
I expect a 10-page report on my desk by Monday.
Don't worry. ChatGPT will get me through it.
Good old co-pilot. And that has been your La Liga's Roundup.
Did you guys catch the Paramount Plus group that covers Champions League here in the U.S.?
No, they're great.
Right? Like Katie...
Abdo.
Yeah, and then Carragher, Thierry Henry, and
Micah Richards.
Yeah. Micah Richards, right? And for the most part, I find them relatively entertaining.
Yeah.
Sometimes I roll my eyes, but whatever. But because in this Champions League format, the amount of times that she has to say breast and Micah Richards giggles every single time.
He's like a little schoolboy.
Like a 12-year-old, right?
Yeah.
So Breast sent jerseys, kits,
yes, I saw this.
to all of them. And Thierry Henry's just has his name and his legendary number, right? But on the back of Micah Richards, it says breast lover. BRESTLOVER.
Well played. My new favorite club in France.
Hilarious. Well done.
Do we need those kits? We need those kits.
That's brilliant.
I got to look at those kits to see. But it's a very cool story. There's an athletic article that came out yesterday, the day before. That's good. Talking about this small town team, from northwest France or something like that. Sharp kits.
Ooh.
Little red and white kits.
Yeah.
What collar action? Heck yeah, I like that.
That's not bad.
This is a sharp kit. Yeah, we might have to order it there, Blake.
It's slimming too.
It is. It's Adidas with a collar. Who doesn't like a good collar on their kit? It's not one of those stupid faux collars.
Right.
Yeah, like for real. I don't like the faux collar.
Yeah, I don't either.
Do it for real or go home,
Yeah. Little breast. But where did I say that they're going through? They're playing. They're in the unseeded teams, right? Isn't that what I said?
Yep, they're in 18. I just thought that was worth mentioning because any team that can have a little fun, have a little, wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of attitude is a good team.
And they played Real Madrid. Like Real Madrid went to Brest today. There's so many more jokes I could go there. Okay, let's. Somebody tell me when to stop. I'll go to the real joke.
Stop.
All right. On
I hope you got a breast quote from Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
God, that would be great.
I don't want to say the one that about the male football players and the female ones, so that's a quote on here right now. I don't really feel that to be
that one.
proper for what we just were talking about. So there's already one marked on here, but we'll say that the striker admits he didn't fit in at Barcelona. He's quoted as saying, "I started to adapt and blend in. I became way too nice. I said what I thought people wanted me to say. It was completely messed up. I drove the club's Audi and stood there and nodded my head. I hardly yelled at my teammates anymore. I was boring. Zlatan was no longer Zlatan."
I hardly yelled. I love that. That's great. That's a good Zlatan quote. That's not one I'd heard before. More introspective.
I'm gonna do the old check mark. Will you pass me a pen there?
All right, gents, well, let's mention our beers, the pod, as we wrap this up. I had from Stable 12 Brewing the delicious Katana Japanese rice lager. Very good.
And we had City Brutiful, a mega collab for Orlando Beer Week, taking place up until this Saturday, February 12th. So if you're in the Orlando area, please get out to see any number of breweries, small craft beer bars, any of that. Support your local beverages. City Brutiful, a hazy IPA, 7%, tactical host at a whole host of breweries in the area. Fantastic.
Please give us a follow. We're over on the Blue Sky now. You can find us on the other usuals, the Facebooks, the Twitters and whatevers, and I think there's a Tumblr that's still there, but don't go to it. No one. Does anyone use Tumblr anymore? I don't know. Leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or have you listened to us. Let us know if you did. We'll try to get something cool to you. And then last but not least, I'm not going to do a dad joke. Instead, while we were talking, I tried to pull up too, like, who talks about Michael Oliver more, Arsenal or Liverpool? And I found a lot of Liverpool Reddits about Michael Oliver. And there was just one comment I saw. I was like, never mind. This is going to be it's not a dad joke. I'm just going to give you this comment. Someone had said Michael Oliver needs to be taken off the Premier League games as a comment. And user vegan_puffin responded.
What a great username.
I feel this is said about everyone at this point. We'll have no refs. We'll have to get Marvin from the canteen out on the pitch.
Marvin
and I'll bet,
from the canteen.
There's a real guy.
Who's Marvin somewhere, right? Sells crisps by the bag.
At the canteen, little prawn crisps. Oh, I don't know why that delighted me so much. I think mostly because it was also from vegan_puffin. And now I realize maybe there's an untapped wealth of funny comments from football rants on Reddit that would make me.
I bet it's a gold mine.
Yeah, a veritable gold mine. All right, gents. Love the beer. Cherish the game. The beautiful game.